Hello, Magdalens. I don't know how else to say this except the old timeline is over. Not in a dramatic tower kind of way this week. It feels quieter than that, more grounded and embodied. It feels like many of you are standing at the edge of a life that you once prayed for. And now the real question is, can you actually hold it? Because this week doesn't feel like chasing energy, it feels like receiving energy. And after everything that we've walked through collectively, that can actually feel surprisingly vulnerable. So, welcome in, Magdalens. Welcome to the Magdalene Frequency Forecast for May 31st through June 6th. As always, I've called in my guides, the Akashic Records, the Council, your guides, higher selves, and only the energies aligned with unconditional love and truth. And so let's go ahead and see what is unfolding for us this week. So, before we get into the cards, let's talk about the energy surrounding this week. We are still very much integrating that Sagittarius full moon energy. And Sagittarius energy always wants expression, truth, freedom, bigger vision, and bigger possibilities. So many of you may feel like your perspective is shifting right now. It's almost like you can suddenly see farther down the road than you could before. We also have Chiron preparing to move into Taurus in mid-June. And I do think that many people are already starting to feel that energy building underneath the surface, especially for those approaching a Chiron return, which happens around the age of 50. This can bring up deep themes around unworthiness, safety, receiving, stability, and what it actually means to feel secure inside of your own life and body. The angel numbers this week are very loud. We have 12, 12, 12. We have 12, 12, 122, and what was the other one? 909. So 1212 feels like timeline mastery and alignment. 909 feels like completion, cycles, and karmic closures. So, I mean, that's the thing that's telling me the most that the old timeline is over, because it just keeps popping up this 909. And it's just like, the old is done, the new is anchoring in. And 122 keeps repeating this message that the path lights up as you walk it. You do not need the entire blueprint yet. The next aligned step reveals the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And honestly, that feels like exactly what this week is about. All right, Magdalens, let's go ahead and look at the core energy of this week. I'm using the Gilded Tarot by Barbara Moore for this reading because I really wanted to lean into the emotional and romantic undertones I was feeling surrounding this energy. So let's see what the base spread has for us. And so card 1 is the overall lesson of the week, which we have this 10 of Cups energy. And so, like, I love that this feels like it just keeps building on, week after week after week. So I can see the trajectory. I can really feel how the energy is moving to really, put together the full picture of like why this, feels so big. And so, last week our energy was this 9 of Pentacles, which was, our harvest was finally coming in and we felt like the tides were turning. And so it's like you were starting to see, the efforts of your work, the blessings starting to come in from just all of this work that you had been doing. And so now then we have just like this swell of emotion, that comes after that feeling of like, okay, first you probably have a bit of shock when it happens. And then the next piece is like, this feels really, really good and really fulfilling. So the trigger for it is this Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is a brand new opportunity has come in. And it's one that, I mean, you may feel like completely just unfamiliar with. And so like you're still a beginner, you're still learning, you're still in the learning phase of how to even do this. And that's what I kind of feel for this energy. It's like we're learning how to hold the life that we've been building, the life that we've been desiring. Because this 10 of Cups here with the rainbow at the top, that always points to the destiny path. You know, when I see that, it's just like, oh, you're in, you know, the alignment with your destiny path. And then we've got these bee energy that also caught my attention. It's just like, you know, you're taking and harvesting and making, you know, the honey, and it's just like the sweetness of life. And it's just, I don't know, I just, it feels so much better than so many months, you know, of the energy that I've been reading and this wave that, you know, we've kind of been riding. So like, this new opportunity may be something you're unfamiliar with, but I mean, it's like, just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad. The emotional undercurrent, I love this. It made me giggle. So we have the Knight of Wands. And so the Knight of Wands wants you to just rush in because it feels so good. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. And just the energy just feels just magnetic right there. And our challenge though is this Four of Swords. We've come too far. We've done too much healing, you know, to rush in and be reckless. And because this is what this energy can sometimes be. The Knight of Wands can be a little bit reckless because they don't think. They just rush in with, you know, just the, you know, the emotion and the desire. And it's just like, that's how we get stuck in like some of those old patterns and traps that we've fallen into before. So, the opportunity or the path forward, first I got this Five of Wands energy and I was like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I want to know more about this. And so I pulled the Nine of Pentacles to go with it. And then it started making sense. And so it's like you've got a lot of different energy coming at you, likely pulling at you in all directions. And because like I feel like that, like this fulfillment isn't just in one area of your life. I feel like you've got lots of different moving parts here that are, you know, coming in all into alignment because you came into alignment. And so like this is asking you, the unrest that you're feeling right here is asking you, can you still hold into the energy of sovereignty, of authenticity, of, you know, just not like hyper independence, but you know, you own yourself. This is the energy that got us to this 10 of Cups energy. And so it's like, can you hold this energy that not just created this thing, but it's also the same thing that will sustain it? Can you hold it? And so like that's the whole message that I kind of keep feeling from, you know, just this whole week's energy right here is, okay, this is the life you've been dreaming about. This is the one you've been praying for. The opportunity is here. We don't want to mess this up. So like, can you hold the energy that was the same energy that got you to this place? And you know, that's our lesson. And the bottom of the deck energy here, we have the Page of Cups. And so like this is the dreamer energy. So I feel like, you know, we're starting to allow ourselves to envision the future again. And then because we have, you know, two-page energy right here in the spread, it's like it's still young. They're still learning to do, is what I just kind of kept feeling from this. Like not immature in like a bad way, but it's just, it's new. They're still learning to do. That's why we can't just rush in with that Knight of Wands. We've got to be able to kind of like slow it down so we can see any obstacles or anything that needs, you know, like to keep us in that full alignment with that 10 of Cups energy, because that's our goal. That's like we worked too hard to get here. And so it's like, what do we need to do to sustain it now? Okay. So this is really interesting because this doesn't feel chaotic at all. It feels like life is finally starting to soften a little bit. But I also feel this underlying energy of, can I trust this? Can I actually let this in? So let's go deeper into things. I really want to understand this Ten of Cups energy more clearly because this feels like the centerpiece of the whole reading. And look at what does emotional fulfillment actually look like? How is this playing out in real life? And what are we being asked to understand about it? All right, so let me see. Just going to use the tarot again. So I want to see what does this emotional fulfillment actually look like? We have the Emperor. So it's not unclear. It knows like this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do, and it's just like it's not unclear at all. It's not ambiguous. It comes in, it takes action, and it leads and it stabilizes. How is this playing out in real life? We have death. And so like this is the full transition point. And so like this is like life can no longer go back to the way it was. It cannot be the way it was. I'm going to pull one clarification here. And so we have the Knight of Cups. And so, the rose colored glasses are off. This is romance at a higher level because we can't do it in, the same immature ways, the Knight of Wands, the rushing in, the reckless and not really thinking things through. And so like this is like the higher level of love. What are we being asked to understand about it? We have the Ten of Swords. What it took to get here. What it really, really took to get to this place. And it's like, let's finally get to the acceptance, of, what happened in the past and release it. We don't have to carry it anymore. It's over. Let's clarify this a little bit deeper as well. And we have the Five of Swords. Yeah, it got ugly. There's no doubt. This was like, there's no winners here because it's like, this was almost like every man for themselves. So yeah, it's like you're not forgetting. And that's why this energy right here was so important. The Five of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. That's why it's so important that you still stand firmly in the standards and and what it took to bring this Ten of Cups in, because this is what the old energy brought in. It's what the old patterns brought in. And it's like we worked too hard. We worked too hard to get past that. So now it's like we stand in this energy here. And that is what brings us to here. Okay. So now that we can see the energy that we're working with this week, let's ask the bigger question. What do we do with this? How do we stay aligned with the highest version of this timeline instead of slipping back into old fear patterns and old survival mechanisms? So here's a few final questions that we're going to be looking into. What is our best move forward this week? We have the Four of Cups, and it's like almost like expect the unexpected. So you've been, inspecting all the ways, all the lack. This is like you don't even see this coming. And I mean, and then it brings this level of fulfillment for you. What does this situation look like in 1 week from now? we have the Seven of Wands. So let's clarify that a little with the Knight of Pentacles. And so I think this is having, still good boundaries, and it's taking things slowly. The Knight of Pentacles, it's like we have to have a real plan here. And so like I feel like that's the ground you're holding in this situation right here is no, we have to have a real plan because we're not doing the Knight of Wands. We're doing the Knight of Pentacles this time. Okay. What can we do to stay aligned with the highest version of this energy? The Empress. And so that's, the balance, is that when you stay in that feminine essence and you hold, the standards of that, Empress energy, you will get, the balance, in the counterpart energy as well. And so, I mean, like, that's the growth that we've had here. What mindset or embodiment shift helps us to anchor this timeline most successfully? The Ace of Pentacles. And it's, see it for the opportunity it is. Aces are potential energy, and they do not count until you do something with it. And so it's like you see this opportunity. It is coming in with this Page of Pentacles. It is a new opportunity. And let's do it correctly this time. Like that's what this whole thing is asking you. It's like, let's don't rush. Like that Knight of Wands is what is going to trip us up the most. We've done too much healing to let this Knight of Wands, which is the passion and just just rushing and not thinking our ways, through it clearly. It's like, that's just what I keep feeling as the balance of this. All right, Magdalens. This week feels like learning how to receive without abandoning yourself. And honestly, I think that is a much deeper level of mastery than most people realize. Because it's one thing to manifest the blessing. It is a whole thing entirely to feel safe enough to hold it. And that's what this energy feels like to me. So if this reading resonated with you, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the channel with another Magdalene who may need this message right now. And also, don't forget that I have a free download available for you on my website to help you begin reconnecting with your intuition and learning the difference between intuition and overthinking. That link is down below, and it's also a beautiful way to stay connected with the Magdalene Frequency community and my email list so that you don't miss an upcoming reading, offering, or deeper teachings that I have. And if you'd like to go deeper with this energy with me, the extended reading is linked below as well. And we're going to be looking at what's unfolding underneath the surface, where this energy is headed, what blocks may still be lingering, and what the higher timeline version of this connection and path really looks like. All right, Magdalens, I will see you in the extended.